Hey, what's going on? And for today's video, we're going to be installing Android 9.0 10.2 inch screen on our 2015 Lancer Ralliart. So that will fit an 08 and above Lancer, GTS, ES, Ralliart, Evo 10, you name it. They will all basically fit the same way. This one in particular is for the Rockford sound system that we have in the car, and my car also has a backup camera capability. So make sure if you guys do buy one, you buy one that's adaptable to the car that you need. Go on Amazon, I'll link it down below, and then you can go ahead and get the correct one that you guys do need. So this is roughly about 470 bucks. Pretty decent price for what you're going to be getting. So without further ado, let's go ahead, hop in the car and get this thing installed. Alright, and before we dive too deep into this video, I did use a couple YouTube videos to help reference the install of this thing. So I can't shout out all the videos that I've seen, but with that being said, I was able to kind of gather a lot of information from a couple channels. They all know something different. So in this video, I'm going to try to go ahead and combine all that knowledge into one video, and hopefully you guys can get this installed, because I'm your average Joe. If I can do it, then you can do it. But before we start, I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like as is. Okay, so you got the trim piece that's going to have to be removed. And again, it is the Rockford that I have, Rockford Fosgate. So yeah, that's what it came with stock. And of course, here's the backup camera. So not every car is going to have that. And there's the subwoofer. So the goal is to get everything installed with the subwoofer working, backup camera working, and if that all goes good, we'll be in good business. Okay, for the tools you guys are going to need, you're going to need a ratchet, a 10mm socket. Don't really need an extension for this. You're going to need a pair of scissors. I'll explain to you guys more in detail why you're going to need that. Optional, you may want to have a little rag on hand. And last but not least, a Phillips style screwdriver. Longer the better, that's what she said. And of course, you're going to need all your harnesses that came in the box and your new unit as well. And I'll dive into deeper detail on what those all are later in the video. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started now that you know what tools you're going to be needing. Alright, so to get access to the radio, you're going to have to remove this trim. So what you're going to do, open up your glove box. I don't know if you guys have ever changed out your filter back here, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze each end of your box glove compartment, and it's going to drop down even farther. Boom. First step, we're just going to go ahead and remove this little Phillips screw. So once that screw is removed, you can go ahead and just give this a little tug and wiggle, and it's going to dislodge from those 2 points right there. So there's one that drops in through this little hole right here. So there's a clip that slides in through there, and there's a clip that slides in through there. So it just comes off just like so. And you kind of want to keep all your screws together. That way you know where they belong. So we'll throw that guy in there. Now once that one's removed, you have just one more up here, holding this trim piece to the dash. Again, this is another Phillips head. They're all going to be Phillips heads. Now this is probably one of the scariest parts of this whole process, and that's removing this trim. You don't want to snap anything, so be pretty careful with what you're doing. Just start on one end. I like the little wiggle method. And it's going to sound like you're breaking things, but you'll be okay. So once you have this trim removed, you can kind of breathe a little bit, because that's probably like the hardest part on here, or at least the most nerve-wracking in my opinion. Now give this a shot. Don't really got to play with that anymore. So now you're going to come over here, and you're going to go ahead and remove these 3 Phillips screws from your little hazard button. Alright, those 3 are removed. Give it a nice little tug. It's just holding on between these 2 little pieces of clips right there. And you're going to remove this harness. Oops. No damage, we're good. So here's another interesting spot where there are some clips, and they can be a little nerve-wracking, but it's not as bad as the other panel, because we're going to be removing this one anyways. So if you damage it, it's not going to be at the end of the world. But what you want to do is you want to pull up on each end of these tabs right here. There's a spot right here you want to grab and a spot here. Same thing as the other ones, just give it a gentle wiggle. What I'm doing is I'm wiggling in an upward motion while I'm doing this. And then you want to slowly creep your arms up. And there you go. Okay? That is now exposed. Alright, so once you have that faceplate removed, it's time to grab your handy dandy Phillips screwdriver. You're going to remove 4 little screws. So it's going to be one here, top right corner, lower right hand corner, lower left, and then upper left. Pretty easy. Nothing's in the way of them. Pretty straightforward. So what I recommend doing is completely remove the 2 top ones, leave the bottom down below. That way they don't fall deep into here and then you lose them. So what you can do is, remove the 2 top ones and then take out the bottom together. That way the screws stay in contact. Now with the free hand, you can go back and remove those without it kind of falling into the back of your car. Because trying to fish that out would not be fun. So here's my handy dandy towel. I'll have it there just so it doesn't scratch anything up on the car. But I want to show you guys the harness layout back here. Because I know there's a lot of videos out there, but I don't really go into too much detail. So I'm going to show you. This is a 2015 Ralliart. It has the backup camera and it has the Rockford sub in the back. So this is what I have here. So we're going to go ahead and plug this power supply. Unplug that guy. Sometimes life would be easier if I had somebody helping me record. But anyways, so I have that one unplugged, have this one unplugged. I'm just gonna work my way around. So really, there's only 3 or 4 connections back here, and then it becomes removed. But yeah, there you go. So here's the old one, out with the old. Here's the serial number or anything like that. If you guys ever need it, you can go ahead and freeze the screen. But yeah, so that's your part number and everything there. OEM. I'm gonna be keeping this. You always want to keep your OEM stuff just in case you ever want to convert back to original form. But here's everything as is. Before I install the new one, go ahead and clean up everything because you do have your AC vents here. It's a good time to get in there and give it a nice deep clean. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta think this has not been touched back here since the cover is pretty much built. You know what I mean? So go ahead and wipe it down. Give it some love. You want to give your connectors a nice inspection. Make sure nothing's cracked, broken on there while you're back here. That all looks good. No cuts or nicks in the wires. So everything looks kosher. Okay, so this is just an extra part that I saw in another video. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it just to reinforce the installation. So if you can tell, this side, this is the stock one, has these little white clips on here. So yeah, what you can actually do is you can actually remove these by hand. Just be careful, they're plastic, they can break. So you can remove it, right? And then what you can do, come over to your handy dandy new one and reinstall them on here. It's going to help lock everything in place better because they are not provided on this one. Granted, I'm sure you're going to be just fine running it without them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and transfer all of these over to this side just to help everything be settled in there properly. Alright, so there you go. I got the clips reinstalled onto here, but that's not the only thing you're going to have to salvage off of this. You're also going to need to steal these vents off. So I'll show you how to do that. And then you're also going to have minor fabrication that you're going to have to do to make sure that they fit on here. Alright, so in order to remove this, you just want to get these little 2 tabs separated. So there's 1. Here's 2. So you can do that with a flathead or pair of scissors. I should have added that to the tool list. But then again, just shimmy it out and there you go. There you have that. So let's go ahead and knock out the other side and throw it on here. So this step right here, putting the old one onto the new one, this is where those scissors are going to come in handy. So let me show you the issue that we have here. So keep in mind this little tab right here. So when you go ahead to put everything on, it actually gets blocked. So yeah, so when you go to bring this down, this little tab right there, it hits that and you can't get it in there. So what you're going to have to do is trim off this little piece right here. Just that one little corner. Alright, to show you guys how much trimming I did, here is the vents. So this side right here is what I trimmed off. You can see that clip is completely missing. And here's the other one. So I'm going to have to do it to this side as well. I just wanted to show you guys the comparison. But yeah, so once you do have that little piece removed, it should sit in here the way it's supposed to. Which it does now, and we're good. I'll show you the other side. Yep, we're good. Alright, both are installed. Let's go ahead and do a functional test on them. Make sure everything works the way it's supposed to. Alright, good. Alright, we're set. But for comparison, look at the size difference between the two of them, like the screen itself, and then the computer, whatever you want to call it too, is way thinner. It's probably about half the size. It's just kind of crazy how technology can get advanced like that. Alright, so here is our bundle of joy, all the harnesses that came with the box. So I'll start off with the things that I'm not going to really use. But here's just an extra USB cable. If you really wanted to use it, it'll plug into one of these compartments there. Here's an extra one if you guys are running an aftermarket subwoofer or anything like that. These are just extra RCA converters. It does come with the GPS. I will be installing the GPS system. It'll be nice and easy. This one right here, this is your speaker. So if you're somebody that likes to talk on the phone in the car, that'll be handy dandy for you. And then inside this also has this little Wi-Fi antenna. So yeah, this thing has Wi-Fi. So if you got in a Wi-Fi area, go ahead and surf the web on your car if you want. I am going to install this as well. This is just a double USB port. And then last but not least, I want to touch up on this portion on its own, just because this has the backup camera. So if you guys have the backup camera, pay attention. If you don't, you're not going to really need it. This is all one little piece right here. Alright, so you have these two. They're going to connect to the two harnesses on the car side. This black one's going to connect to this box. I'll show you in a minute. And then this right here, this is only if you have a backup camera, I believe. So this is your backup camera source. And then this also has the ground wire. So look for the black one with this little horseshoe looking thing. That's going to be your ground that you're going to need. So this is basically your power harness. And I really wanted to take note on this one for those of you that have a backup camera. If you don't really worry about this portion. You won't be needing this. But if you do have the backup camera, look for the harness with the brown end. Okay, so on the brown end, you're going to see, if I got to find it, there it is. So your cam, you want to connect yellow with yellow, red to red, white to white, so on and so forth. So here is the camera. Camera male end goes to camera female end. Nice and easy. And then same thing for the other ones. So these aux lines, they all need to go into their respective homes. I will say though, the labeling on these make it super easy for anybody to really install. So aux right, pretty easy. Aux left, pretty straightforward. So once you have all those connected in line, you're going to go ahead and grab this, and you're going to find the black piece, which is right here. You're going to come over to your sound system or your new stereo, and you're just going to plug it nice and easy until you hear a nice little click. And then it's basically whatever you guys want to install. So here is the double USB. I'm also going to install that. Nice and easy, there you go. And like I said, I'm not going to do the speaker, but I'm going to do the Wi-Fi antenna. So here at the top of the box, there is going to be the GPS portion, and here's the Wi-Fi. Make sure you guys are paying attention on what goes where. So we're just going to go ahead and tighten that down. Alright, so that's down, nice and tight. The GPS, you're going to be next. So again, it's the more square one. It'll be obvious. So this GPS does come with double-sided tape, so I'm gonna leave that off until I get it installed in the car. So that's about it for connections as far as what I'm going to do. Okay, so I really only have that one port there for the USB, and that's about it. Alright, so I got the double USB disconnected from the radio. I'm gonna go through the glove compartment. I'm gonna feed it through, and then I'm gonna try to catch it right through here, see if I can find a spot. Alright, so I found a spot. It's basically going, you kind of have to do it by feel. That's what I did. I stuck in one arm through here and the other through here, and I was able to feed it through. Yeah, anyways, that's where I'm routing it. Slides right behind into my glove box. So that's where that's gonna sit. Okay, and now I'll be able to plug that in a little easier and have it out of the way. Now, before we do any connections, we want to make sure we're grounded. So find your ground wire again, and you're gonna come in here, and I'm gonna use this little bolt right here as my ground. So you gotta loosen that. In order to do that, you need your 10mm ratchet. So you're just gonna loosen it, that way you can get that ground under there. I wish there was an easier way to get this all done, where I could show you guys what I'm doing, but I'll show you in a second. Okay, so like I said, here's the ground wire on that nut right there. So that's where I have the ground running. Now we can go ahead and connect these connectors. So for the connections, first things first, you're gonna find this one. This was hiding on the car side. It's gonna go plug in right in here where it says A&T for antenna. Make sure that gets seated in there pretty well, which it is. Let me flip the camera around now. But yeah, there's everything installed for you. I know it looks like a lot of throw up, but everything is connected. That I've already previously talked about. GPS, the Wi-Fi antenna. The GPS, I have it running on back side of this, so just right up here. Underneath, you can kind of see the wire there. Got the ground wire, like I told you guys, connected to that bolt. All the connections are done. Yeah, pretty straightforward. There is this weird one right here. I don't know what it belongs to. Maybe you guys can answer that question. It says 14 Mitsubishi. So I don't really have that. I don't think it's gonna be an issue. We'll see when we go to run this. We'll go ahead and start the car up. But yeah, there's everything. Just figured I'd show you before I toss this back in. Alright, so I'm not gonna fully install that yet. I'm gonna go ahead and run the car up and see if it turns on and does everything it's supposed to. Alright, let's see. Initial startup right here. I do have an airbag system warning. Maybe because this is unplugged. Let me see if that'll go away. So here's our little hazard little thing. Plug that in, see if that will go away. Still there. Let's see. Turn it off, let it reset. I'm hoping that's not going to be an issue. Okay, I mean, I think it looks good for now. Cross our fingers it doesn't pop back up. Here is our radio. Everything looks like it's working there. Let's go ahead and do the reverse test, make sure the camera works. Huh. That's not wanting to work right now. Alright, round two. We'll see if this works. Sweet, okay. I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna shut this down and show you guys what I did for that fix. So, on the back side, I had the brown harness, which is the backup camera, right? So the backup camera harness was actually sitting in this area right here. What I did was I moved it around, I put it here in this top corner, and it actually worked. So that's the only thing I did. So maybe that's the fix, maybe it just needed a different location. But yeah, so everything works. I'm gonna get everything buttoned down now. Hey, we in business. No copyright. But sweet. So it looks like I can put everything back on and call it a video. So there's actually one last thing I forgot to check, and that was the subwoofer to make sure it works. Yes, mission success. So GPS works, backup camera works, subwoofer system works. I think we're in business. So that's pretty much the down and dirty on how to install this thing. There's a lot of features on this, so it's gonna take me a lot of homework to figure out how to do everything. But for the most part, I think we are set. Pretty freaking happy with the way it looks. It looks very genuine, looks like it was there originally. And last but not least, let's do the most favorite appealing part to everybody, and that is ripping off plastic. What a clean look that is. Really happy with how that came out. Alright, so that's gonna wrap up today's video. Just a quick down and dirty on how I actually installed this thing. I know you guys were waiting for car parts on this car, and so here's one that's gonna be very entertaining. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit around and try to play around with this, see what apps I can find on here, how to navigate everything, and maybe I'll make an additional video for you guys in the future if that's interesting for you. As always, this is going to be linked down in the description box below, so if you've actually liked this, thought this was a pretty simple install, something that you can do yourself, and you want something to upgrade, yeah, I'll link that down below. It's an Amazon link, of course, as always. This took, like I said in my previous video, it was about a month to get here, so it wasn't too bad. Came from China, but so far I'm loving this thing, and I'll give you guys some more feedback once I get to playing around with it, driving with it for a while, and show you how everything works. So yeah, everything works as advertised. Pretty straight and simple install. But with that being said, I want to say thanks for watching. As always, never live your life on idle, and I'll see you guys next year, because 2020 has now on the back burner, and we're looking forward to 2021 and beyond. Hopefully 2020 has to be it's gonna be one of those years that's pretty chaotic, but you know what, we all made it through, all grew from it, and that's all that really matters. So on to 2021. I'll see you guys next year. Peace. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and also consider subscribing.